What's up, page turners? Welcome to Writers with Purpose. I'm your host, Melvese from Written Words Publishing. At Written Words Publishing, we envision a world where all stories, where every storyteller, regardless of their background, has the opportunity to share their voice, shape narratives, and impact the world through the written word. Okay, I don't know why my tongue is twisted this morning, but I'm glad that you are here with us, page turners. And I know that you value powerful storytelling. So do me a favor and like this channel, follow this channel, subscribe to this channel, and share this video, okay? Because y'all know that every time we have a guest on the show, they always say something that you need to hear or something that somebody you know needs to hear. So you make sure that you share this video with whoever you know is going to get something out of the conversation that we're going to have today. All right, page turners? Because today our guest is the author of Breaking the Chains, Finding Healing, Forgiveness, and Freedom in God. Her powerful and deeply personal work takes readers on a faith-filled journey of healing and transformation, helping them confront the wounds, fears, and limiting beliefs that may be holding them back. Through biblical wisdom and real life experiences, it offers encouragement for anyone ready to embrace forgiveness, walk in freedom, and step boldly into God's purpose. Now, we all know that the good book says that if you want to be forgiven, you have to forgive. And we all want our Father up in heaven to forgive us. So let's see what our guest today, Miss Cecilia Columbus, has to tell us about forgiveness. Because we all need some forgiveness up in here. How are you doing today, Cecilia?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Tell the page turner something about yourself.
So, I am Cecilia Columbus. I am, first of all, an educator. I'm a special education teacher, and I've been in the education world for about over 20 years now. Um, and I just recently started my author journey in the last few years, publishing in some anthologies, and now publishing my own written work.
Awesome, awesome. So, how many anthologies have you been a part of so far?
I am a part of two anthology. One is Stand Up Volume 2, which is resilient Black women who are shaping the world with their faith. And my story in there is called Beautiful Broken Masterpiece. That's the name of the title. And then I am also in a faith anthology, which is Faith Devotion 365. And I'm in a 2024 edition, and I share a brief story about faith.
That's awesome. Well, what made you decide to go ahead and step out and break out and write a whole book all by yourself, breaking the chains? What was your purpose?
So I have been working on this book for over 10 years, and it seems like every single time I told somebody that I was going to write a book or share a book, I always got asked the question of, why are you writing a book? What's your purpose? Do you know your audience? And things like that. And then I would just like stop. I'll put the book down, and then if I shared again that I was gonna, write my book, or whatever with someone, they'll say, nobody's gonna read it. And it was kind of like the enemy was just using people to already um heighten what I was already believing about myself as an author and a writer. And so I just kept putting the book down. And then finally I was just like, you know what? Nothing's going to move until I be obedient and do what God is calling me to do with this book. And I have to get it done. And so I just went on ahead and, I sought to see if there was someone who could help me take all of the pieces that I had, starts and stops, and they took it and put it together for me. And then I just kind of went in. And then even so, it was put together in early of 2025, and sat and I read it, and I was like, I am not publishing this, God. I cannot publish this. And so it still would not leave me at all. And so I was just like, okay, this book is not gonna go away, and so I need to just be obedient. And so I just finally just was like, you know what, we'll just be submissive and do what God is calling us to do and just stop delaying the obedience.
That's basically the ultimate goal, because no matter how hard you try to avoid it, eventually you're going to end up having to do what it is that he called you to do. And all you did was just prolong the process and make it harder for yourself. And you could have just got it done,
Absolutely.
got it out the way, got it out the way. Well, you wrote about healing and forgiveness. So why do you think forgiveness is a hard is a hard is one of the hardest steps towards freedom?
Whew. So forgiveness, so I'll start with I had a lot of pain from church hurt. And so it took me years to, even though I said verbally out loud that I have forgiven the people who have hurt me from church, from my previous marriage, my ex husband, so forth, so on, I still found myself struggling with a lot of things. And it seemed like the unforgiveness was just kind of, laying low and festering. And a lot of the unforgiveness came from, me not forgiving myself for whatever role that I played, or the things that I thought that I allowed to happen, the way people disrespected me, treated me, hurt me. And so walking through forgiveness, was one of the hardest journeys. Like I went through forgiveness courses, classes, even became a certified forgiveness coach. And I still was struggling with, parts of unforgiveness towards certain people. And I finally just, and I don't know, something just kind of clicked one day and was just like I'm not going to get real free until I completely forgive. And that means that when I see their name, their picture, or whatever, if it doesn't create an internal reaction, then I know that I'm okay, and I know that I have let go, and I know that I've forgiven those individuals that hurt me. And when I can talk to, my ex-husband without yelling and screaming, I know that I have truly forgiven, and I can move forward and be, walking in freedom and liberty, when, things that will just take me to the next level no longer gets me there. And so once I've learned that, it kind of said, this is what forgiveness really looks like. This is what freedom looks like. And God just allowing me to, one, forgive myself, because he said that he already forgave us. He already, tossed our sins into the sea of forgetfulness. And for me to continue to keep holding a grudge against people, when it's not going to move the needle, or it's not going to, you know, change anything. All it's doing is holding me hostage,
Mm,
and like a prison of, like a state of prison. Like once I release that, then I can move into freedom. And that's what the
mm,
importance of forgiveness was for me. It was just kind of walking through that and knowing and understanding what it really looked like. And then saying, you know what? I've forgiven all of those people, and I no longer have that pain against them, and they're no longer living in my head rent
mm,
free on a day to
mm.
day.
Wow, that is a good that is a good example of how someone can identify once they have reached that freedom, once they have broken that chain of unforgiveness, right? But how do they get to that point, right? How did you get to the point where you could talk to your husband without being, wanting to wring his neck, or see somebody's picture and not cringe? Like, how do you reach that point?
It took, I did the letter writing. I did the, writing it down, burning pictures. I burnt all of the previous wedding pictures. I walked through that whole journey, setting everything on fire. I did like I did a lot of things to just really try to figure out how to let go. And it was just finally just saying, you know what? Everything that I'm doing that the world says to walk through forgiveness is not really working. Like I still have this animosity. And so it was just really just getting honest with myself and then honest before God and just saying, God, I really need you to help me, remove whatever this is that I have towards these people that have hurt me. Like
Mm,
allow me to at least be on a cordial basis for the sake of our daughter, our relationship, and things like that. Like, allow me to be able to, you know, have a normal conversation without, feeling the anxiety of having to be the her person. Like, take that away and just let me be at peace. I need a peace in this situation. And so, really, just praying and asking God and seeking Him for the peace in the relationship was just the key component that I really needed to do.
mm. Are there any Bible verses or scriptures that you could point your readers to that they could lean on while they are going through this forgiveness process?
Yes. So Colossians, where it talks about forgiving, Ephesians, I don't have the specific, but I can see them in my head where it talks about,
Hmm.
forgiving one another, loving one another, encouraging one another. One of my favorites is in Romans where it talks about vengeance is the Lord, he will repay. And so not trying to take things into my own hands, just forbearing, yeah, bearing one another, like having hope and compassion towards each other. So just looking like at those scriptures, and I'll try to get those exactly. I don't have like which Bible verses they are specifically, but just
That's okay. I mean, you guided us to the chapter. Read the whole chapter. Read the
yeah,
whole
read the
chapter.
whole chapter.
You read
Ephesians,
that.
Colossians, Romans, like those are all great um ways to learn forgiveness. And one of the books that did help me on my journey was a forgiveness book by Lisa Turkers, and she talked about like kind of like reshaping the story in your head, and maybe the way that you seen it was not the way it really played out, and maybe your mind is adding because of past traumas, and it might be just combobulating everything together, but really just going back and dissecting the truth of the situation and what really happened. So
Almost like you making it more than what it really is, type of thing. Yeah, yeah. That probably is what we do in our head, because then you're thinking about things and you're wondering and you're trying to figure out and you're trying to understand, and then you're making assumptions, and you don't really know, and you only have one side of the story. And yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Well, what do you hope that readers feel when they finish, turn that final page in your book?
Um, so what I hope the reader gets is more of a transformation, of being able to identify the internal change that, they have been dealing with in their lives and what might be keeping them from getting to the next level that God is calling them to walk in. Um, it's hoping that they will begin their own healing journey for what it is that they have gone through, whether it's in their past, whether it's something they're going through currently, and then just really leaning into God to help, heal all of those wounds that they may have that's hindering them from walking in their purpose in God.
Yes, yes, that would be good. Yeah, you definitely gotta look to God. Look to God first and foremost. That's for sure. If you want healing, He is our healer. He is a provider. He is a forgiver. So definitely have to go there. I like your cover. Tell everybody where they can go and they can purchase your book.
They can go to freedomencourages.com. and there's a link there that they can either order the book for a personal autograph copy, or they can order the book also on Amazon.
Yes, yes, yes. That's awesome. That is so awesome. All right, page turners, if you watching and you have any questions that you like to ask, put them in the chat now before we get out of here. So you went ahead and you wrote this book. Do you have any more books in mind? Any more books swimming around in your head that screaming, I gotta get out?
Yes. So there's a journal that I am working on to accompany this book, because I think that that would be very helpful to help women be able to walk through and identify those internal chains, and then walk through a way and means of healing, and allowing God to come in into their situation. Also, there's a children's book that I would like to write as well. So I am working on that in the background too.
Okay, cool. So is the children's book going to focus on forgiveness? Because that's something that these kids really need to understand.
Um, yes, the that is the ultimate theme of it. Yes, and so it is the vision in my head. I don't know. There's this. It's like a little series of children who are kind of working together to exemplify the fruits of the spirit, and then show love, and just really encompass that. So that's eventually my ultimate goal, is to just kind of write some children's books like that.
That would be nice. That would be really nice. All right. Well. Before we go, just one more question. What is like a daily habit that helps you stay spiritually grounded? That somebody else might be able to adapt to help them stay spiritually grounded.
I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is pray, and then I read a devotion from the Bible, and then I go into a kind of deeper study, and then I'll listen to some worship songs. And so just kind of starting my day with God is the thing that keeps me grounded on a day-to-day basis. If I don't start my day with God, it's not going to go, as well as I would hope for it to go. So,
That is true. Definitely got to start with God. Speak to Him first thing every morning and last thing every night. Are you on social media? Let everybody let the I'm sorry, I can't refer to y'all as everybody, can't refer to y'all as the audience, so y'all no more. I apologize. Let the page turners know where they can find you on social media.
yes. So the page turners can find me on Instagram, Rise with Cecilia. They can find me on Facebook at Cecilia Columbus, and LinkedIn at Cecilia Columbus as well. So,
Awesome, awesome. All right, Cecilia. Well, thank you for being a guest on Writers with Purpose today. And I want to thank all you page turners for tuning in today. Now, I know that if you yourself are not dealing with an issue, open up your phone and go back to all the pictures from the beginning, start scrolling and see which one of those pictures is irking your nerves, right? If you see a picture that's irking your nerve, then you know that you have not fully reached forgiveness. And that means that you probably need to read Cecilia's book, Breaking the Chains, and you know somebody else who is looking at your picture and probably haven't forgiven you yet. Send them this video so they can forgive you. We all want to be free, okay? We all want to be free. All right, page turners. Y'all keep writing, y'all keep reading, y'all keep turning those pages, and we will catch you on the next episode of Writers with Purpose. Bye bye, everybody. Sorry, bye bye, page turners.